Alright, Hosses, welcome back to another Node.js tutorial. And before we get started, I need to tell you a story. Nothing to do with Node.js, but I need to get it out. So, I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I was checking out, and the cashier, she was a pretty cute girl actually. She was like, making small talk, this and that. And eventually she asked me what I did for work, and I go, I'm a programmer, you? And then I realized that I just asked the cashier what she did for work, and then I realized that I am an idiot, and my face got red, and I tried to avoid eye contact. So, yeah, pretty embarrassing. Again, that wasn't like a story into what I'm going to teach you right now. Just something embarrassing that happened to me. So, let's get started. Now, in this tutorial, what I want to do is I want to cover some basics of JavaScript. This isn't really specific to Node.js, but these are some concepts that are really important and we're gonna come across a lot in Node.js. So again, I know this isn't a JavaScript tutorial, but these are really important to understand right now. So the first piece of information is this. Whenever you make objects in Node.js, they're the exact same as JavaScript. So for example, you can have like first name, Bucky. This person object can also have a property of last name, and I'll set that equal to Roberts. Make sure you separate these with a comma, and we'll just say something like age 28. Alright, so again, what you can do is you can actually call console log and just print out this entire object, and what's going to do is just print out the properties. Make sure you have your semicolons in there. Nothing new. Now another thing I want to point out is this. So whenever you're typing JavaScript, it's pretty much just code that runs in your browser. It runs, unless you have like a while loop in there, it just completes and it's done. However, this code right here, think of it as code that's going to run on your server. So it's a little bit different. Any Node.js code is going to run on your server and it's going to run continuously. So this process is still going on until we stop it. Now, if you try to run this again, I already set it up, so it says, are you sure you want to run this again because you already have a process running? I set it up to just reboot it, but again, think of it like that. Again, all this code is going to run on your server. It's server-side code. Alright, so now that we got that taken care of, another thing I want to point out is this. So, say that you have a function called add numbers, and you just try to add two numbers together, A and B. And of course, this just returns A plus B. So in Node.js, console.log, what two numbers? 7 and 3. Alright. So whenever you have a function and you try to log it out, what it's going to do is it prints out the return data. So again, whenever I run this, it's going to print out 10. So again, any function you print out, one more time, it's going to return, or it's going to print out the return data. Simple enough. So why do I say that? Well, there's gonna come, let's say that we have a function called like worthless, and it doesn't take any parameters because all this function does is nothing at all. So let me just call worthless. Alright, so this function right here, check out what's happening. It doesn't have any return value, any return statement. So whenever we try to run this and print it out, this function is going to be equal to undefined. So that's another concept that we're going to come across a lot. Any function without an explicit return statement, like this, it's always going to return undefined. So you actually saw that before whenever we just log something out, like in our very first tutorial. Ugh. What the heck was that? Alright. Kind of embarrassing there. Alright. So, in our very first tutorial when we were just printing stuff out on the screen to test everything out, you saw that. That is why. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys is this. What you can do is you can actually have a variable, and we'll just say print bacon, and you can set a variable equal to an anonymous function. So say that we had a function, and we'll just make a really simple, stupid function, And what's this function gonna do? It'll just print something out. So console log bacon is healthy. Don't believe the doctors. Might as well capitalize that, make this a little bit more formal. Alright, so we pretty much have a function that prints something out, and my semicolon right there. And what we're doing is this. We're taking this entire function and we're setting it equal to the print bacon variable. So now we can just do something like print bacon, and look what's happening. So of course, whenever you run this, you know what's going to happen. It's going to print out bacon is healthy, don't believe the doctors, whatever. But the point is, we really don't need a name for this function. So most of the time whenever we create functions, we have a name so we can reference them and use them where we want them, obviously. However, there really isn't a point to giving this function a name, so in Node.js, we don't need to do that. This is called an anonymous function, and another cool concept is we can actually take these functions and assign them to variables just like we would, you know, like a number or a string or anything like that. And of course, why would we want to do this? Well, one cool thing that we can do is this. Whenever we have a function stored in a variable, we can actually use this and pass them to other functions. So setTimeout is a function I'm going to be talking to you guys about a lot in the next tutorial, but check this out. We can actually pass print bacon in there and put like 5,000 or something. And again, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what setTimeout means, but it pretty much means call this code in 5 seconds. So when I run this, of course, this print bacon is going to run first immediately. It's going to wait 5 seconds, and then it's going to call this print bacon from setTimeout. So what am I trying to demonstrate here? Not printing crap out on the screen. I just want to show you guys that you can actually take functions, assign them to variables, and the benefit of this is we can actually use these inside other functions, and you're going to be seeing that a lot later on. So for now, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and well, see you later.